Pushing the button.
All right.
Well, you too, David, obviously.
I like the date. It's very alliterative, numerically speaking.
Yeah, welcome back. Hello there.
Hi.
Yeah, writing it down was interesting. I was thinking to myself, ooh, this time next month is going to be really interesting when it's a 2/2/2/2020.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks for getting that out of the way. Welcome back. All
Hi.
right, let's. Oh, that's funny. I told him sit anywhere. That's perfect. Here we go. Hi, Mrs. Ryan. Welcome back, everybody else. Today is Wednesday, January 22nd. As Mrs. Ryan just pointed out, 2020. Holy smokes. It still blows me away, the 2020 thing.
Yeah, it's weird.
Huh. You're going to have to get used to it. I don't think it's going away. Okay. Mrs. Ryan, let's see. Our guest this evening is from Shameless. Let's see. You know him from The Rock. You know him from A Few Good Men. We know his face from, gosh darn, a heck of a lot more things that are on this card we're going to talk about. David Bowe is here tonight. Actor, comedian. Do you do stand-up? You're very funny. Dabble in stand-up. Okay. Well, funny, very funny man is here this evening. We're going to have a conversation with him in a few minutes. Mrs. Ryan, until then, I only have a couple things for the hellos, but let's start with how the heck you're feeling. How you doing? I love your squirrel shirt.
Thank you. I love this shirt, too. A little stronger, really slow, but, like, I'm okay.
Does your core have anything to do with it? Because I know you've been trying to work on strengthening that a lot lately.
It has everything to do with it, because nothing, I'll try to be quick, but, like...
Take your time.
Truthfully, what it comes down to is, like, I spent decades building my body to be a machine, to be a swimmer or a hockey player or neurologically a public, and think, and the mental gymnastics that requires. And then...
At that level.
At a really high... Right. So all of that went away when our lives changed, and, like... So... all of the stuff that I built up, and you have to maintain that.
Yeah.
And I didn't. So it all fell away. So I'm
Atrophy,
rebuilding in every way. And you learn what's important, what you want to spend your energy knowing and learning and doing. And most of what I had spent my time and energy doing was not important to me anymore. So, which is fine. I just had to clear the slate and stop holding on to shit I was at the same time trying to get rid of.
I mean, this is us with life, right? I mean, we do that
Right.
with life.
Yeah. So I'm just dealing. I'm a physical example of a manifestation of that. So to get really heady, like, I have to think about it on multiple levels because it affects me physically, like in a 3D, like, human sense. And then also, but it really affects my thoughts, and that affects everything.
Everything
so
around you,
I have
sure.
I'm getting
Your
a
state of
little
mind.
stronger in that sense. Core, you asked me, but anyway, it all broke my body. My body all broke apart because I built up all those muscles and all those physique, whatever.
Yeah, and then the roots all died.
Yeah.
They dwindled. Maybe not died, but shrunk up real good.
Totally.
How's that?
Totally. And my right side shrunk more than my left.
Yeah.
And I talked to that chiropractor guy about that. Anyway, now that I know more of the pieces, I see how they work together differently, and I'm figuring that part out. But the core is essential in that, and I have to rebuild that in a more just life way versus how I was doing it before. So
Right. Well, your
a
speech,
slow
too, sounds a little better today.
it does.
Well, I hear you, and I can see you hear it, and pause for a second, but I'm telling you, I think it's a little better today.
Thank you. I have, through all of my work and my self-work and whatever, like, I used to speak really quickly, but I wasn't saying anything.
No, I know. Yeah, I remember. No, the publicist lifestyle. I mean, just keep talking.
The whole job is to misdirect and get what you want to get out of whatever interaction you're having. And none of that requires actual thought and planning. It just requires someone to talk louder and be more voiceful and domineering in the conversation.
I totally understand and I totally agree with you. I just think it's funny for anyone who watches this show because they only know me with the guy who takes interrupting and whatever. And the truth is, I only got that way when this desk got here. You, throughout our whole life, as she just described our whole lives together, were always the one who was running the goddamn show. And I was just in tow along. And so it's rather funny for anyone who has only seen the switcheroo. Like, it used to be, I mean, straight 180, but maybe worse, 180 and then multiplied.
Oh, yeah.
Or amplified.
I used anything in my wheelhouse, including you and whatever, as like a tool in my arsenal for my job.
That's right. Everything's a resource, which is true, by the way. That's a good way to look at life.
It's totally true, except you have to have some emotional attachment to or understanding of anything. And I was just like, intellectual, I can use this for this.
Also, there's a give and take to all of that for it to continue to work as a system.
Not my old life. It was just take.
Isn't it fun to laugh about it?
Isn't it? So I'm rebuilding my core and all
David,
that.
you see the honesty now, you get it, right? Because we lay it out there.
We're talking about it.
Oh, my gosh. All right, Mrs. Ryan.
Sorry for being long-winded. That was a really roundabout answer.
We all love you. That's it. I get to love you in person, but we all love you.
Thank you.
We all heard it. Yesterday we talked about you had a story to go along with Dave Watch about you, somebody you used to work with, blah, 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 blah. I said there's a picture. We found it. Here it is. It's I'm throwing it up right now. This is you and one of the future hosts of Top Gear America, and I believe he's accomplished in a few other places as well, Dax Shepard.
Yes.
It's you and Dax Shepard, and this is roughly what you look like when I met and fell in love with you. I don't know what year this actual photo was. Do you?
It was in 2005-06. I looked it up.
Oh, so it's probably 4 years before I knew you. But this is roughly what you look like, weight-wise and happiness-wise.
I fought to be that weight and keep that physique together for years.
Oh, this was a lot of work to get here?
Oh, yeah. I ate a lot and I worked out a lot. Like, that's a machine. Got to keep that going.
Well, that's probably why you had the energy to do all that stuff. I mean, you were nonstop. We joke about it on the show sometimes, but you were no joke 40 weeks a year on the road with comedians and actors and what do you call them?
Athletes.
Thank you.
It was nonstop.
I pointed to Serena Williams.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so it's crazy. It's crazy. People don't really realize.
Yeah.
And we also didn't used to be in front of the camera, which brings me to we should just get to this. Why not? Pushing the button, Mrs. Ryan. Yes, of course. It's time to do Dave Watch.
Great.
If you've been paying attention to our show, you know for the last couple months we've been going after Mr. David Letterman to be a guest on our program. Obviously, there's the elephant in the room, which is we're sitting at his old equipment. That'll be fun to talk about, but there's a story that goes way, way deeper with me and my history with David Letterman and growing up in the same town that he used to live when he did the show. And in my high school, I have some photos today. I figured maybe I would do a little memory lane since you did it yesterday. This was me in high school, folks. If you haven't been watching this show since the beginning, yes, sirree, Bob. There's me sitting in a desk and chairs, very similar to this one, except from Office Depot version. And I thought I was all that then too. Sure. Yep. Have a sip of this. Why don't I? And then we did this one over in a theater, I think, with a live audience, which was fun. But yeah, so I was that kid. I was doing that stuff, and then the whole life happened in between where I didn't do anything like that. Ran away from it, obviously. But the microphone story and all of the other ties. It's going to be really fun to have David Letterman as a guest here. So last year we were doing the calendar and the Dave Watch, and we're Xing days off like Dave did in the '80s for when he was trying to have Donahue on. You probably remember.
And Oprah.
Later in the 90s, it became Oprah and in the Oprah log. So maybe we'll have to start a Dave log. Hey, dear Dave, I think it'd be great if you were a guest because, pretty funny. Anyway, but with that, Mrs. Ryan has actually gotten to the Dave's guy. They've been having conversations. This is absolutely going to happen. We are very, very confident of it. When, not sure, but I think it's going to be pretty soon. And then I'll just give it to Mrs. Ryan to let us know what's going on, what's new with Dave Watch.
There is nothing new.
Since yesterday.
Correct.
All right. Fantastic. That's been Dave Watch. It gets funnier to me every time. Sorry, it just does. Other people probably don't get it because it's new to them. To us, it's like this thing that's a weird throwback to, whatever. I love it. Let's do the East Coast feed and then figure out the rest of the show, Mrs. Ryan, shall we?
Okay.
Checking in with East Coast feed. Danbury Chive. I believe we're at home today. Roll it out.
Oh, is it? Show Jay and Nicole your new move. There's the new
Get us
move.
lopped
The
off
dance
YouTube.
party tonight. And what do we say? East Coast feed? Yeah, it is. Brooke, the Casman, and Coraline. East Coast feed. Right, Monkey? Tell Jay, what did you have tonight? What is that on the table you're eating tonight? What's that right there? What's that? What is it?
Cheese balls.
Cheese balls? Whoa! You got the mother loader cheese balls, right? And it's dance party night? That's the new move. That's it, Monkey. There goes Brooke. Is it? Brooke, you want to get in on this one? Say hi to Jay and Nicole at least.
Okay.
There you go. Say bye, Jay and Nicole.
Bye.
They have a dance party night?
That's
Holy
hilarious.
smokes. I love them. That is the best. That is the best.
Oh,
and
that
once
is-
again, you couldn't fit one more toy or anything else in that place. I have to say this every time because it looks like a shanty. That place is huge. He bought it. It's 4 stories. It's a townhouse in Danbury, Connecticut. It's huge. He just has filled it with everything from Queens and his childhood. So familiar. We just did the one room, though, I think. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, Mrs. Ryan, that's it. It's time to ask the question that's on everyone's mind.
Oh, dun-dun-dun-dun.
What's going on, Mrs. Ryan? Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
In South Wales, Australia, there is an Italian restaurant called Prosecchi's.
Prosecchi's, okay.
Not Prosecco's. They made a 300-foot pizza
Ooh, like a football
to
field.
create an opportunity for people to contribute to the rural fire station there.
Oh, wow. So this was for the firefighters.
Yeah.
That's a lot of firefighters. Is it it can't be 300 feet across and round. Is it just a long,
It's a
like,
long
Subway sandwich
pizza,
type pizza?
16 inches across.
Okay.
But and it was 4,000 pieces to sell for
wow.
the fire to raise money
Oh, that's adorable.
for the rural fire department, which I think is pretty neat. It's outside of Sydney, so
It's huge. It's huge. By the way, I heard they finally got some rain last week, which is finally some relief at least. They're still dealing with it, but a little bit better.
everyone's figuring out how to help. That's awesome. Netflix opened up new headquarters in Paris.
Oh.
That's
Do we know that was happening? No.
No, they've had a presence there, but it's becoming a hub of their international European marketplace. And so they've created a headquarters there. They're developing a whole slew of new content, which is pretty rad. Like,
French content or?
yeah,
I don't care. I'm just.
the French content, which will probably go into other markets once they can develop it. For
Gotcha.
Other.
I see. They're doing Netflix originals over in France. Yeah, that makes
Yeah,
perfect
and that comedian that Jerry had on his show, Gad or whatever.
Yeah.
I know they're collaborating for that. So it's what I'm realizing is that Netflix got 8.8 new subscribers in the last year, and it's international. So they used us as kind of
I think they were hoping for 9 or 10. That's a shame. I wonder if their stock, what, 8 or 8, what is it, 8 million?
8.8.
8.8 million, probably.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
So America, like the base where they launched it was really just like what works, what doesn't work. And so
Right.
now it's all going international and
Proof of concept for global.
yeah. So it's working and they're expanding and I'm so excited to see that they're starting in France because they've got plans to expand in Germany and Italy. So we'll see. It could bring us all together in a really cool way.
Oh, okay. I love your take on it.
Well, I'm looking at things in a nice
You
way.
really
now.
are. It's amazing. Bravo.
It's what we have.
You
Let's do
know,
it.
Netflix is known so much for comedy, and I think of when you used to tell me stories of when you were. I'm going to use a big name here, just because we go to this one all the time. But Chris Rock, say when you would tour with Chris Rock, or would go on the road with Chris Rock to other countries, you said sometimes it was bigger than he was here, and this was at a time when there wasn't a bigger name in comedy here.
And his agents were telling him no because they didn't understand that. He was huge in Europe, and they were like, "No, you can't go over there."
But you guys went, and you said it was overwhelming.
It was over what we opened. He opened the O2 Theater. We added dates. Like you don't know what you don't know, and
Right.
so I love that we're finding out what's there.
Very cool. Good for you.
Hopper, do you know? I know we don't use things anymore, but Hopper the app is donating for every flight booked or hotel booked. They're donating money to.
Oh, Hopper is a travel app or
Yeah,
something?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't have any idea.
Yeah, I think I used it once a long time ago. But they're donating upwards of $6 million this year alone towards growing trees and planting trees.
Love that.
And they're doing what they can. There was a lot of articles written about it because it's new for them. They're not the only ones. But all these travel companies, it seems like, are conscientious of their existence is denigrating the environment by default. And they're doing what they can.
Yeah,
some of
cruise
them.
ships and airliners, right? I mean, those two of the largest. At least that's what we're hearing these days.
It's what we're hearing these days, but
Okay.
they're like, we can't make it go away. It is what it is. So here's what we'll do to try it out. So
It's interesting.
you never know. And lastly, I'll just be super quick on this. Sean Combs changed his name again.
Didn't he just do that a couple weeks ago? Didn't you do a story on this recently?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It's now Sean Love Combs
Okay.
is his legal name.
I love that. Well, unintended.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's been. What's going on, Mrs. Ryan? Oh, crap. I forgot to bring the stuff. All right. That's all right. Mrs. Ryan, let's take a break. Let's pretend that this mug is a cup of hot sauce. Because that's easy to do. Let's take a quick break. David Bowe is going to be in here in a few minutes. We're going to get to know him. He's going to be sitting right there in that chair. More to come right after these brief messages from Oh So Delicious Hot Sauce. The hot sauce made by bears.
Oh, so delicious. It's the hot sauce made by bears. Garlic and serrano mixed with love and care. You can put it on your eggs, pour it on your rice. It's great on a leg, it's better on a slice. It's oh so delicious. It's the hot sauce made by bears. Oh, so delicious hot sauce. Great on everything except oatmeal.
Get your bottle today at osodelicious.org. $1 from every bottle sold goes to the National Military Family Association.
You know?
I have to go here,
You don't
over
have to
here.
do it.
I have to go
You
there.
don't have to do it.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm looking over there, then kids at home can't see me.
With that, we are back, sitting here with David Bowe.
Hello.
Thank you so much for being here today, and thank you for dressing up.
Yeah, you're welcome. This is I actually wore this tie for my good friend Richard Chasler, who didn't show up. No,
Didn't even show up.
It's a Jerry Garcia.
Oh,
tie.
lovely.
Yeah, he created this tie with without a finger. No, I don't know what that means. No, he's
I don't know
Jerry,
if
of course, was missing part of a finger, and
Is that true? I never
oh yeah,
knew that.
oh yeah.
Is that like a really well-known thing?
I think so.
I mean, we even
I
got
think
a
there's
dead
a
stick
like
in
a famous picture is this of his hand, and that was
smokes.
his picking hand. I'm going to do this a lot. Is that cool?
I love it.
Do you have a sound
love it.
effect for that, or
I'll just do it with my mouth like we do. Are you a deadhead? Are you a
I
fan?
am. I just saw the what I like to call the Grateful Mayor. Dead and Company,
Yep.
I guess. I saw the two shows at the
Forum, yeah.
before the New Year's shows, which I saw the New Year's set was incredible.
Was that at the Bowl?
That was up at in San Francisco. I'm not sure
Oh, okay.
where they played up there, but
Gotcha. No, we usually see them at the Hollywood Bowl when they play
The Grateful Dead or the Dead and Company?
Company,
Yeah,
yeah.
they played there a couple
Last
times.
year.
I saw them at the Greek one year, and then I took my oldest son, who's 21 now, but to see his first Dead show a few years back at the Forum.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
You're
Didn't
awesome.
expect that to come up.
That's so cool.
You are one of those people whose face we know from everything. I don't do a tremendous amount of research generally, but I was like, I know him from so many things. Let me just go down a couple. And I started writing a few down, and it just went on and on and on. I don't want to turn this into the Chris Farley show. Do you remember when you did that? That was
It was
awesome.
so cool.
That was awesome.
That was awesome.
But at the same time, I have a feeling I could do that with you very, very easily.
Well, I mean, let's face it. I have a very high TBQ, is what they call it, and that is my. I've appeared on television, be it as a guest star in a TV show or a movie, or commercials. I used to do a lot of national commercials. Used to.
Huh?
Used to.
Were you the Country Time
I
Lemonade
still
guy?
do. In case you want
There
to
you
hire
go.
me. Yeah. And I still do. No. So, but it's one of those things where I'm not, a household name or anything. And for the most part, if people see me, did we go to school together, or do I know? Do you go to this gym or that? That's most people kind of like they have that familiarity, but they're not sure why. And it's actually worked. Well, not against me, but one of my most prized roles was the stalker on the original 90210. Garrett Slan, and I was the
That's one of the things on here. Let's get to it now.
gentleman who got to rape Tori Spelling, or almost rape. Sorry.
Oh my
Oh, did I
gosh.
just say that? Are we in trouble?
Well, I remember watching that show with the girls in high school. Holy smokes, you're that guy.
I was the stalker, and
There were only the two controversial storylines. There was that one and where she gets beat up by Ray, the musician.
oh right.
Oh, and then there's the kid who blew his brains out, of course, by accident. So there's three, I guess.
Oh,
But you're
wow, you
really
you were a big fan of the show. Did you watch it?
no.
No.
I wasn't allowed to watch it, so this is all new to me. But
Well, this is a true story. I was in Palm Springs, and I was having dinner or drinks at a Mexican restaurant. I can't remember the name of it, but all of a sudden, the police enter, and the police kind of walk up, and they want to talk to me, and I'm like, "What is going on?" And the waitress recognized me, but she thought that she had seen me on America's Most Wanted
my
as a stalker.
gracious.
I was so good in that role that when she saw me, she goes, "That's the guy. That guy's a creep. That guy's a stalker. I know it." So she called the police. Said, "I think this guy's wanted. I think yada yada." Swear to God.
I'm not a rapist, but I play what I should be.
And it was a Fox show. It's easily confused. The titles are a little different, but So that's how good an actor I am.
Well, I don't know if this is. I debated whether or not to tell you something today because it's more about me than anything else. But I found you probably in the 90s, maybe from the Raw, whatever, in the 90s is when I kind of found a bunch
Right
of things.
on.
And I, at the same time, had just recently met Mike Judge, the guy
Yeah.
who does all the cartoons
Sure.
and all of the things.
Big fan of Mike
And
Judge.
a wonderful comedian in his own right. Anyway, at the time I had just met him. He was kind of new, and I didn't know him that well. And then you started popping up, and I started telling people. I was like, I think Mike Judge is in The Rock. He's in the
that's so
beginning
funny.
with the baby doll scene when they're in the tank with the gas and everything. And of course it was you. But it happened a couple different things, and that didn't
Wow.
last very long. But I definitely told a few people that Mike Judge was
That
in
I
movies he wasn't in.
I have a couple of doppelgangers. There's the boy who could fly. I can't. Of course, I should remember his name. But do you remember that TV movie? Or it was
No, and
it was
I remember all the Bubble Boy movies and all that shit.
It was kind of like that. It was the boy who could fly. It was a real heart wrenching story. Anyway, but it
ABC's
Great
Feel
to-
Good of the Week.
great to bring that up without remembering his name. So I feel badly about that, but. No, and then some people also think that I'm the science guy, or not Bill Nye, but
Bill
the
Nye.
other guy
Mr.
who's
Wizard?
no,
Can't be Don Herbert.
it's the guy who does like experiments and stuff. I'm trying to.
I mean, I could see you playing that role, sure. So I'm sure there's a guy out
and
there.
yeah. So
The
and
zany scientist
I
guy.
don't know his name either. I don't really know anybody's name except for
Well,
Yeah.
that's another thing I was debating whether or not to ask you about. David Bowe and of course David Bowie, for a long time that was a problem. It's probably not going to be so much anymore.
well,
But
unfortunately, I was told starting out by I was all of a sudden was with a big agency, Triad Artists, who were at the time were like ICM or William Morris, and big office, and they were like, have a little meeting with David Bowe. And we go, we have to think about what you're going to change your name to. Mm-hmm. And I said, why? And they said, well, David Bowie. You can't, we can't certainly, put you out there with your real name. And I said, well, it's my name, and I want to keep it. And to be honest, his name is David Jones, and he had to change his name because of the Monkees. So, so there. And he named himself after the Bowie knife. That was his.
Oh my goodness, is that true? I didn't realize. I never heard that.
That's what I've always read and heard.
I have a feeling you may have researched it.
Yes, and I mean, it's I've heard it so ever since Space Oddity came out, and I was in elementary school, and it was like, David Bowie. But ironically, I became a bisexual rock star, and I married a beautiful black woman. So
nailed it. Who wins? You do.
And truth be told, I didn't make as much money as he did. I made like half what he made. No,
the outfits though. My goodness.
So much time. So much more to go.
Big fan of his, and it's a shame that we lost
he's gone.
him. Yeah, he's gone.
Absolutely.
But and I just read this morning that Terry Jones passed away, who's one of my heroes. I mean, Monty Python is one of my all-time favorites.
What stuff from them? Because I like them too, but I was limited with what I had access to when I was younger.
The television series.
Same here.
Yeah,
Circus.
Just all of it, everything. They're and then to read about how they did it and how they were like, I don't know what the word is, but they were like the hippies of and then there's a
they
famous
did it where they couldn't do it. And it worked out.
Right, and then they let them air it, all their craziness, and they got away with a lot. I wonder what the stuff is that they did cut, how
right,
controversial or yeah. But I just caught a replay of they were on a talk show with actual archbishop and a priest, and talking about Life of Brian, and how they were just saying how blasphemous it was, and it was just horrific, and these you should be ashamed of yourself, and John Cleese and Michael Palin were the two doing the point counterpoint, and they were just like, we never had Jesus. You saw Jesus, but we pulled back away from the sermon on the mountain to the people in the back, and they're like, could you speak up? And it was like their interpretation of what's he saying, and it's like
it's a very human equalizing moment,
and then you show it's like he's just another, like they're all being crucified. He's just another one being crucified. And they thought that was just so the archbishop. I mean, you have to look it up.
It pulls the curtain back on the Bible, and
Right. But it was designed not to belittle or make fun or of religion or Jesus, but to just make people laugh. Just
and maybe add a little perspective.
Yes,
just perhaps as a little bonus.
Laughter usually comes out of absurdities in normal situations, so that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, we're all taking this so seriously. Let's not.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I love all their movies. They were great. They still are. Some of them are.
Well, yeah, I
We've
think
lost
most of them
Graham,
are still here.
but
Palin's still around.
Yeah,
and Cleese is still around,
and Terry Gilliam, was one of my favorite directors. He's great work.
Do you mind if I do a little bit of this? Just going.
No, please. Let's talk about.
Well, this just came up in the news the other day because they're remaking it. Maybe a phone call's coming. 30-something is back. You did an episode of 30-something?
Well, I used to be what they call the Kiss of Death. I was on the very last episode of 30-something. The storyline was if the show had continued, they would be moving out to Venice, California, and working at Chiat Day. And I was one of the hotshot guys at Chiat Day who was like, come on down. Our biggest problem is sand in the computer, in the laptops and this and that. But it was cool. We actually shot it there we got to film in the paper room, which is all made out of perforated paper.
Okay.
Even the chairs and the desk and everything is paper. It's like, I don't know if that's
very art.
I think that's Frank Gehry did that specifically as well, but it's also,
I've seen it with cardboard before.
It was very
I'm sure
cool.
paper's similar.
Well, the paper was like cardboard,
Okay.
not as sturdy, and it was kind of
But I've seen those corrugated chairs and stuff like that.
Right,
that can
right.
support all the weight.
So I got
Neat.
I got to do that, and then the show did not get picked up. So I was like, all right, well, when we next season, I guess I got a job, but no. Larry Sanders Show, I was.
Believe me, I've got a lot of things on here. That's one of my.
Well, no, I was
all-time-
thinking I was also on the very last episode of Larry Sanders, and I played one of the one of his agents.
Yeah.
And we did a big line of coke in the green room, and we're just talking shit about him and who cares and
because it's over. So
Yeah.
the cash cow's done.
with Bob Odenkirk. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Oh, God, that is one of the. I think it's the first single camera comedy too, but also still my favorite. And I've worked on a handful.
One of the best shows ever done.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, the writing. Judd Apatow's a good friend, and he. I mean, all the writers on the show.
Yeah.
But and Garry was a good friend that I met through Judd and through some other people. But I got invited to his house on the weekends and got to play basketball with
part of the basketball
Kevin
club.
Nealon and David Duchovny, and then the guest stars like Mr. Brad Pitt is this weekend's guest star, or Clint Black, or just it was a lot of fun. Sarah Silverman was a regular, and
Garry Shandling is incredibly important to me, and I can't really explain how or why. I met him a couple times in life when I used to work at
Right.
Saturday Night Live and stuff like that. And then something happened, and our life went to shit and whatever. And I said,
Right.
"Oh, Gary's going to help me tell this story about this Letterman stuff and everything else." And he died like that, like the same week.
oh no,
And ever since then, I've had this weird connection to him, and I'm not like Garry Shandling's in me,
Right.
other than I think he's in anybody he ever touched.
he really was like a. It's hard to say because he was so sarcastic and so just kind of like, and his big thing was like, what are you, Bowe? Are you old? Are you an old guy or are you a young guy? I mean, make up your mind. Like, I don't like just my hairline, I guess, whatever. But that was his big take on me. But he was very obvious. I mean, you watched Judd's love letter to him
Absolutely.
Actually, I made the cut. I was in one of the, making, like they did a behind the scenes of that last episode, and Dave Bowe.
Love it.
And the point I was going to make was he really had this kind of spiritual side, this kind of like, I don't know. He really wanted to. When he made that move, it was so heartbreaking. When he worked with Elaine May's husband, when he
Sure. Right. Dickens. I can't do it. Nichols and Mays.
Mike Nichols. And he just really wanted to delve into the character and wanted to, and Mike's like, we need beats, we need laughs, we need to and just Garry really wanted to work on the part and do like, he really wanted to feel it,
Which one are you talking about?
The alien.
What planet are you from?
Yeah, what planet are you
Yeah.
from? Yeah,
Yeah.
which unfortunately did not do.
I love that
well.
movie. It's
So
just
good,
awful.
though.
It's good
The
because we
story's
love it.
great. It's
Yeah.
a bad movie.
It's rough.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
There's so many
But-
good damn parts in it. Kinnear's great in it as a
Yeah.
little asshole.
Yeah, I know. I remember. You know what? To be honest with you, I saw it on cable. Like I didn't go to a premiere or
Yeah.
anything. But
I agree, though. That was supposed to be a thing for. Didn't he write that too?
I
he
think
wrote
so.
it.
I think yeah. But
John
anyway,
Goodman's in it. It's great.
But going up to Gary's on the weekends and playing basketball was like one of the coolest things that I had in my life. And I was so sad when he passed.
Do you feel that you got a piece of him? Do you?
Oh,
feel he touched you?
absolutely. Absolutely. I sprained my ankle pretty badly one time, and he's like, "Here, Bowe, take my cane," and he gave me this like cool like cane that looked like an antique, but it looked like it was just raw, like a piece of wood, and
Like a natural walking stick type of thing.
yeah, and then I felt bad because I don't think he was giving it to me. I think it was just to help me get to my car or whatever, and then I eventually brought it back to him. But
Oh, I didn't mean it like that. I meant,
no, I took a bunch of shit from his house. Is that what you're saying? Can I say that?
I totally could. Yeah, no, but I meant, you know what I mean. Spiritually, 'cause
absolutely.
He was kind of a monk the way he would give to people, the way he would spend time talking to people.
Well, we would all after basketball, we'd all sit in his little part of his kitchen and sit down and he had all these snacks ready for us, or if you wanted to whatever you wanted, he had it there, and then we'd rap about whatever was going on in the world, and we'd all kind of have a little rap session, and then there would be time when he was hosting he hosted the Emmys or something, and he was working on some bits with us to see what worked and what didn't, and
I love that.
yeah, so just
brain work.
cool to be in the room. Yeah,
It's a
so
cool think tank you guys had.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to bounce around a little bit just for the sake of time, if that's all right.
All right, should we move the camera, or you?
You know what? I'll do it figuratively. How's that? Life with Bonnie, a little bit more recently, but that was Bonnie Hunt sitcom, wasn't it?
Love Bonnie Hunt. She
that was, if I'm not mistaken, a Letterman-produced show.
Yes, it was. He was very smitten with her.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I am too. I think she's incredible.
I am too. Everything she's done, and she's a friend. She's not a huge friend, but I know her through Sean Masterson, who went through Second City, and Joel Murray, and
love Joel Murray. I mean, as a fan, I don't know the man, but I am such a fan of his. When he pissed his pants in Mad Men, I almost lost it. So great, and he's just so stinking funny.
If only that had been in the script. No. But my friend Sean, who went through Second City and introduced me to a lot of these people. One of them was Bonnie, and he did a short comedy, film that I was in, and Joel was in, and she was in, and that's how I met her. And God love her, when she had her own show, she called up Dave Bowe and said,
awesome.
come be on my show. I thought that was so cool. Yeah.
I love that. If I recall, she had a string of those shows. None of them really ever went, and yet I liked them all.
It was the one with David Alan Grier, and
Yeah.
and she had it was like a TV show, not like an Ellen, but some morning show.
Yeah.
And I played
It was great for her.
a fencing champion or something. I don't know.
Like on the show?
Yeah, that was my
That's
character.
funny. That's funny.
Oh, this guy's going to come back for sure.
I'm
the fencing guy.
I'm just enamored with all the people you work with. Gosh, those are two people who are special to me.
You mentioned Chris Farley, but I got to say that in terms of like David Letterman, Chris Farley, his entrance has got to be the greatest entrance in the history of talk shows. And
it was this set.
It was this set when he did that.
And he tumbled out of the chair, and the cartwheels and all that shit.
Oh, my God. And then the poor guy, the interview was non-existent because he couldn't catch his breath. But he gave 110% to that entrance, and to this day, I agree. Bill Murray's had a couple of cool entrances, as I recall, and
but Chris Chris Farley's his just total dedication to it.
Oh yeah,
110%, like you said. And then it was your friend who probably maybe even worked on that Bonnie Hunt show, because he used to produce her talk show, but it was Daniel Kellison who was the booker behind that, who put that whole thing together.
Right.
So a lot of times in those things, when he's out of breath, he goes, Daniel made me do it, or Daniel told me to do it.
Oh, cool.
Okay, going down the list here. Well, Mad Men's here. You did Mad Men as well.
I did. I auditioned for the very first episode of the second season, and met with the executive producer who did Sopranos, and of course I'm blanking on his name. Matt Weiner. Weiner. Sorry,
I think it's Weiner.
Weiner. Matt
both.
was really so intense, and like the words were so important, and I remember getting real nervous, and he's like, no, we really like you. Let's do it again. And so I booked the job, but he said, this is what we're going to do, David. You're going to be the kind of doctor in 1962 or whatever it was, Manhattan, who can afford a hairpiece. We're going to build you a hairpiece. And they made me a hairpiece, which I wore on the show, and it was the JFK. It was like $6,000 thing, and then they gave it to me.
Oh my gosh!
When I walked,
what are they going to do with it? I guess that makes sense.
I was like, wow, and it was just through the opening scene of the next season. But I remember the table.
Oh, I remember the storyline. Peggy has had to go. Right? Is that what's going on?
What it was that in the first season, every time you saw him, they would start with him getting dressed, and then you knew that he was, with a hot woman or doing something naughty, and
Don Draper.
And so you see him, he's getting dressed, and you hear this woman's voice, and you're thinking, oh, what's he doing? And then it turns out it's a nurse, and he's in the doctor's office. And then I step in, and I've got a pipe, and my hairpiece, and and what was I going to say? That was a blast. I had a lot of fun. But the table reading, which was I think it was the first experience I've ever had or since where I was sitting at the first table reading after they won the Emmy Award for best series.
Oh.
And I was like, wow, I'm sitting here and
Good time.
pretty cool place to be. Yeah.
Wow. Those sets were amazing. Everything about. I'm assuming you were down at LA Center Studios.
I
or
was,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, the sets were just so well done.
Everything
so
about that
authentically
show is
done.
so cool.
You mentioned even our furniture in here. I mean, like,
Yeah.
they made sure everything was right.
down to everything. The cigarette lighters. I mean, everything was so perfect.
I took a writing class at Matt Weiner's house. One
Oh,
of my
wow.
writing classes was there. He rents it out, and a lot of his decor is Mad Men-esque. Like he
Right.
clearly like saw things and was like, how to do it better.
What I
Lo-
love
he
about
was
him,
really thorough
sorry to
about
interrupt
that
you,
show.
but he is so specific. And something that I always loved about The Sopranos was that the scenes would he'd let them lie there, and there would be space, and there would be silence, and there'd be breathing room, and they did that with Mad Men, and it worked, of course. You watch, West Wing, great written show, but it's wall to wall dialogue, and
You got to be on the whole time.
oh yeah, Jerry.
Was that Kenny Banya?
Steve
Heitner, he's been here.
Oh, I love Steve. He's a friend of mine, but I was trying to do Kramer, bad Kramer.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
No, now I got it.
Yeah,
well,
but-
now that it was explained, I'm sorry.
And I guess what? I was almost going to be on Seinfeld. Guess which episode?
The final.
The very last episode. Yeah, isn't that
Were
funny?
you going to be mugged?
No, I was going to be one of the people on because they went under the bleachers or something. There was the parade, the Thanksgiving parade. That was what the episode was about, and it was just like people yelling at. They all got crapped on. I think
Yeah.
in that last episode.
Oh, yeah. They got what was coming to them all those years. A bunch of deplorable people.
Yeah.
Me first. All right. I'm going to go a couple of these because I knew them and other people may not have. Down the Shore?
Down the Shore.
Now, most people probably don't even know that show exists. I happen to remember both versions of it.
Oh well, yeah. They
There was
revamped it.
multiple versions.
They
It
revamped
wasn't
it.
going so. Yeah, they halfway season they stirred it up. They mixed it up.
Right.
They
I
kept the
can't
house the
remember.
same and they
well,
recast
I may have
everybody.
been one of the shark that they jumped. No, I was like over the top, and I wore a hairpiece in this as well. Getting back to
The
my
premise for this show was
my hair.
it was a rental property in the Jersey Shore, and they would just call it Down the Shore. You're going down the shore, so this was like, oh, it's the weekend house down at the shore.
What decade-ish was this?
Maybe 90. in my
This
mind.
was 90s, yeah, 90.
So long before that dumb reality show with Snooki.
Oh, this was a sitcom, and if I'm not mistaken, they reused the set for Yes Dear. If I'm not mistaken, it's incredibly similar.
Gosh,
I think so.
It's
I mean, it's
incredibly
definitely been used for other shows. Yeah, for sure.
Incredibly similar.
I did a couple of episodes, but it was like this a takeoff on Lollapalooza called Jumbo Yaya.
Oh,
was exactly. And it's just a reason to get girls in bikinis and in hot tubs and that kind of thing.
It was interesting, but I didn't know anybody who even knew it. How about Dream On? One of my favorite HBO shows.
Dream On was
Brian Ben, I think.
Yes, I didn't work with him. I worked with the gal from there was a secretary.
She was on Just Shoot Me.
But Wendy
Malick.
Yeah, I worked with her and the gal with the blonde hair who was his secretary, who had that great voice. Is like, I'm not going to do that or whatever.
Totally, but
I wasn't even close to her, but I got to work with one of my heroes, Mr. John Landis, who was the executive producer of the episode. I mean, of the show,
Of the series,
rather. And he directed the episode I was in, and I got to
So you were directed by him.
I was directed by John, and so that was pretty cool.
It's a big deal.
And
it doesn't
What
happen.
is it? What is it about, or what is it from John Landis that resonates with you? He's got a career that went all over the place.
I mean, Animal House is probably my favorite comedy. That just captured that era.
That one and Blues Brothers.
As I see comedies now that are so fun. Great like. The Other Guys. We were just talking about that.
So funny.
Such an underrated movie. So funny.
Mark Wahlberg.
I'm going to drop a few names here. I hope that's okay. But
we were waiting for it.
yeah, Will Ferrell is a buddy of mine. No, Will and I did Kicking and Screaming.
Yes, that's
comedy
right.
about
soccer movie, yeah?
movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I worked on that one.
And but yeah, I mean, I hate name droppers. You know who's a name dropper? Big name dropper. Sting.
Well played.
Yeah.
Well played.
Sorry,
Very
I
smooth.
kind of
Didn't
choked.
even seem like material. That was just, you know who?
I blew that one.
No, I thought
Nope.
it was you, Michael Keaton
So
did.
perfect.
I thought you were above the material.
Yeah, because a lot of people say that I kind of have a Keaton thing, but
Oh my gosh.
by the way, how'd you guys get in here? It's a security building. Anyway,
Pretty good.
yeah, no,
Pretty good.
when Night Shift came out, one of my best friends saw it opening day, called me from the lobby of the theater, said, "Dave, you're in this movie. This guy is you. Your energy, everything about it." He couldn't believe how much, his character.
Do you know
and-
or have you ever met Michael Keaton?
I've met him twice. Once when I was working at a record store on Wilshire Boulevard, and he came up and I was the cashier, and I was like, "Oh my God, I just got to tell you, people." And he just nothing, gave me nothing. I was like,
Ring it.
"All right,
Ring it.
yeah, let's. Can I get out of here, please?" And I was kind of disappointed, but you know what? I'm sure he got. People react differently to fans and stuff like that, but.
The record store guy can go either way too. True, from all the movies I've seen.
Right. No, such a fan of him, whatever, everything. And I'm so happy that he's had this resurgence.
Same here.
Michael Keaton in his career.
Same here, acting wise. We hadn't seen him in a bit. I guess it was Birdman.
And yeah, Birdman.
And the Founder, for me, I thought he was great in the Founder.
The McDonald's movie.
Yeah,
Oh
that
my
one
God.
blew me his work in that
his
movie blew me
performance in
away.
that. Yeah, just so good. And then there was something else. Well, back in the day, Clean and Sober, I thought was
God,
brilliant.
career maker.
Was brilliant.
Yep.
Um,
and for us with the MS, Terry Garr, Mr. Mom, I go to every time.
Yeah.
He was so good in Mr. Mom.
oh well, yeah. It's one of
He's
his.
like an underrated thinker actor guy. Like
Underrated thinker actor guy.
There's a lot of words, but they're all meaningful.
Please elaborate.
He is really known for slapsticky roles in,
Beetlejuice and that kind of
but
thing.
he's really like the Founder is what he's really good at. Like he puts everything into roles like that.
I agree with you,
Right.
but then I'll bridge the gap here. Beetlejuice and the whole thing. His work in Beetlejuice is incredible, in my opinion. I mean, it's some of the
I
best, and
agree.
I can't even imagine anyone else doing that role.
Well, I could have done it.
Well,
but,
other than you,
I mean,
you're
you,
just like
you hate sandworms. I hate sandworms, huh? Zag that bar. Yeah.
I hate them myself. All right. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
Fresh Prince. I did the very famous episode where they filmed a music video in their living room when their parents were out of town with Belle Biv DeVoe.
Come on.
And
Belle
I
Biv?
played the director of the video. And they got in all sorts of trouble, but that was such a great experience because I got to meet Will Smith, and the way that he ran his set and his show was so awesome. And before we went out in front of the live audience on the tape night, that we would all go to his room, his dressing room, the whole cast, and they would start this like dance circle, and everybody would it was this
Getting
like
the vibes going.
energy thing, and everybody had to go in the middle and do their thing and do their dance, and I was part of it. It's like, just a stupid guest star, but
We
very
worked
cool.
in in your studio after they were gone.
Oh,
We did
really?
different shit. There was a soap
cool.
opera in there when I first moved to LA.
Uh-huh.
But all of the stuff was the same.
Sunset
so,
Gower,
like,
right?
Oh shit! No, this was after they were at NBC, so maybe it was later.
Oh,
They were
okay.
at the NBC studios at Burbank. So sorry about that. Maybe it's different.
Oh, wow. You know what? I'll go wait in the car. All right.
You weren't in the final episode of that show. They
No,
moved.
but I
didn't
did.
kill
They
that
did
one.
bring me back for a very special episode. I was in the 100th episode as a different character, as a music producer, and that was the episode that had Quincy Jones and had all sorts of crazy guest stars and stuff. So that was kind of fun. And then Will and I did a movie together called Made in America that Richard Benjamin directed.
I know
and
all about this movie.
and
Go ahead.
go ahead.
Well, I was gonna. No, go ahead.
Carrie Fisher was one of the writers, and I got to meet her. That was really cool. She's a big hero of mine.
I was going to say it was a great movie that I remember, and I also remember what happened at the same time in the world and why nobody really went and saw the movie. From what I can,
They were
recall.
started dating. Ted Danson and Whoopi Goldberg started dating, and they did a little little faux pas at the
a little speaking engagement or a little party or whatever.
yeah,
it was.
at the roast. Where they roast people. What's it called? The
Comedy Central or the Friars Club. Or
Friars
one
Club.
of those?
Yeah, and they did the blackface.
Yep.
And didn't go over so well. But
I remember that was
it was
all anyone was talking about, and they were right in the middle of promoting this
remember that.
movie they had just done together.
had so much fun working on that movie.
It's a great movie. If you can just watch the movie, I still like it to this day.
Oh yeah, it's fun. I told when I auditioned for it, and I auditioned for Richard, who I'm a big fan of Richard Benjamin. You know, Westworld's one of I love Westworld. I love just he used to be the star of all these movies. You know, he was like the guy.
He was an actor with Ali McGraw in that movie.
Goodbye Columbus, and I'm trying to think of other movies he was in. Sorry, Richard. But Last of Sheila, one of my favorites. Anyway, I basically did Woody Allen. My character was Woody Allen, and I told him, and he said, "It's great. I love it. Great choice." So I was like, "Listen, we got to do this. You're killing me. You know, put this on." You know, and I booked the job.
It's great. You look nothing like it.
I
You
know,
embodied it perfectly.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And Paul Rodriguez was in that, and I'll never forget one night we were wrapped and we are going to go out, and I didn't really hang with Ted or Whoopi or anything, but some of the other Clyde Kutsatsu, who is our LA vice president of SAG-AFTRA right now, I met one of my best friends, Raleigh Valverde, who was the mechanic. And he and Nia Long had kind of a moment, but sorry. But the point I was going to make is that Paul pulled out a joint. Okay, not just any joint. This was a Whoopi Goldberg joint.
Oh boy!
And we
proceeded
to take a hit of it. I took, I think, 1 hit or 2 hits, and I've never been more stoned in my life. Like the most, I mean, in this day and age, marijuana is crazy. You go nuts with all the different, levels and strains and all that kind of stuff.
It was different then. It was like
this
oregano
was like, oh my
or
God,
go to bed.
it was pretty awesome. Thank you, Whoopi.
Was she just taking the bus back then? I don't know. We worked with her on Everybody Hates Chris, and she had come out to Los Angeles for it, and she took the bus. She didn't fly.
Oh, right. No, I don't know. She didn't like to fly, no.
Yeah.
I think she was flying on her own. If you know what I'm saying. Hey, whoa.
A show I watched when I was a kid, Alien Nation. Most people may not remember this one.
Alien Nation. Rob Bowman directed that episode. He is also was one of the producers and executive produced X-Files. Rob Bowman.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Or he was one of the producers on X-Files, and then so he after that I worked with him on X-Files, and then I did another one of his shows, Castle, that he directed, that he hired me for.
That's recent,
so.
Nathan Fillion or whatever.
Yes.
Okay.
I want to say Starfire or Firefox or Fire. He was the guy out from Castle.
Yeah.
The actor was the star of some sci-fi thing that has a huge Firefly
and Serenity and Firefly. I
Right,
didn't watch either of them,
Serenity.
But it was a TV
that
and
was
movie.
the movie was Firefly, and Serenity was the series.
One of them,
I think.
yeah.
But he was great to work with. But I was a slaghead. I got to wear the prosthetic alien makeup. And my name, because they named the aliens, my name was Buster Keaton.
Wow,
And-
I remember all of this. That's crazy.
And getting back to changing your
It was
name,
a remake of V, wasn't it?
What's that?
It wasn't the show essentially like a retelling of
It was a
V?
retelling of Alien Nation, the feature film. It was based on the feature film. Yeah, starring James Caan and Mandy Patinkin. Mandy Patinkin played the alien.
Saul from Homeland.
Getting back to the changing your name thing,
sorry.
one of the agents at Triad said, well, one of my first clients, very, very, funny guy, but he had to change his name because his name was Michael Douglas. And we all know who Michael Douglas is. And so she suggested who's one of your favorite, comedians or something. And he said, well, Buster Keaton, and it was Michael Keaton.
Oh my gosh.
So Michael Keaton's real name is Michael Douglas, and he had to change his name because of the streets of San Francisco. Yeah.
Carl Malden. Don't leave home without it.
Oh my
Wow.
God, Carl Malden. No.
There's a new girl in town. Alice, you did an episode of Alice. Is
Not
that your-
only did I do Alice, not the last episode of Alice. No, I did. It was my very first. My very first TV job, and we shot that at Warner Brothers on the same stage where Murphy Brown later shot, and now is the set for the Ellen DeGeneres show.
No kidding.
But I think it was 15 or 16 years old. My first, I got my SAG
Were
card.
you a friend at Tommy's or something?
I was Tommy's buddy on the basketball team,
Hey,
and we just
who watched that show?
and
This
we
guy.
just lost Doug too. Yeah, McKeon. He
yeah.
passed away. Just passed away a few months ago, I think. Which is crazy, But I guess he had some illness or something.
He was the
perhaps.
Laverne and Shirley guy. That's not Squeaky, yeah. Doug McKeon.
No, that's Michael
McKeon.
Michael McKeon.
Oh, different.
He's still with us. Better Call Saul.
Oh,
Still
yes.
working.
Oh, my God. He was
Still working
so
on that.
brilliant. Did he win an Emmy Award for that
I don't know.
performance?
He
Was he
should.
nominated? I mean, he must have been nominated. It was so good.
The
Best
OCD.
thing. Oh, yeah.
It's Crazy
Oh,
Pants.
God, he was good. Crazy Pants.
Oh, sorry.
But anyway,
I get a lot
so
of those.
my first, I got my SAG card doing a commercial. Grew up in L.A. I was born in Santa Monica, small town off the West Coast. You may have heard of it. Stone's throw from here.
Walk right out into the water on a wood thing.
And I did an AMC car commercial, AMC wagon.
Whoa.
And it was with one of the Gold sisters. And it was either Tracy Gold or
I didn't know there
the
was
other
a
girl.
sister. I remember Tracy Gold from
Tracy
Growing
Gold
Pains.
was in Growing Pains. Her sister was the little blonde girl on Benson.
You're kidding me. The daughter? The family's daughter?
I think so. Yeah.
Whoa.
And she was my sister, and I was out in the rain changing something or whatever, like with a raincoat. I remember. But that's how they tapped Hartley'd me, and I got my SAG card.
Oh, bravo.
And then my first, acting job where I had a few lines was Alice. And not only did I get to work with the cast of Alice, which was Vic Tayback and Linda Lavin, and
I can never remember Flo or the what's her face.
everybody else was so good on that show. But the coach of the team was Dave Madden, Reuben Kincaid from the Partridge Family. Was our coach.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I was on his basketball team, and
I see.
the episode I believe was Alice Calls the Shots, and and then on top of that, there was a voiceover element to the sitcom where they had the actor who was doing the voice of an actress doing a sexy, voice about something. I can't remember what it was, but it was Jeannie Kasem, Casey Kasem's wife. And
From Ghostbusters.
And
Cheers and stuff, right?
yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Yeah, she was the tall
blonde
blonde with
yeah,
the pigtail.
This was her first job, I believe. My first job as well.
Wow.
And in terms of acting, I mean, TV or movie.
It was Nick Titelli's second wife after Carla in that show.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And Casey Kasem came to the. I got to meet him.
Cool.
Which was kind of interesting. Yeah.
This one goes out to a couple in Wichita.
How many times do I have to tell you not to give? No, sorry. That was.
Do you do voiceover work too? Because you've done so many impressions that are pretty darn good.
Oh, thank you very much. No, actually, I have a lazy eye,
Ah,
so it's hard to
nailed it.
do
Well, Columbo's in.
voiceovers. No, I don't know why that was a place to do that, and it's a horrible joke. I apologize to anyone out there who has a lazy eye, but
All right. Well,
anyway, no, I do. My career as an actor has been what's the word? I've been able to do what I love to do because of voiceovers. I've made my living doing voiceovers. I have been, let's see, for 25 years, I made almost $100,000 a year just doing voiceovers.
holy smokes! I had no idea.
Yeah, I was the voice of many, many things, but my biggest job, I was the voice of IHOP for about 6.5 years, which ended
realize
maybe
IHOP had a voice.
3 years ago.
Like, come on into IHOP.
Come
on home.
What was interesting is that when you book a TV campaign, they want you for the campaign, and then when they change campaigns, they go get a different voice or a new thing. They kept me for 3 different campaigns. They kept using me. The first one was IHOP for people who love breakfast. And
Totally.
then-
Wow, you did it.
and
Wow. That was
no, but
crazy.
then it got real, like, bigger than that. I remember brioche French toast is back at IHOP. It was a real high energy, and my agent even goes, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And because I'd never done that voice before, kind of a thing. And I have a little bit of a cold right now. I'm a little raspy, but it was so.
But they liked it. The
Oh, they
producer
loved
liked
it. That's
Okay.
what they wanted,
Yeah.
And truth be told, and I keep hitting the desk. It's David Letterman's desk. Truth be told, I have a little spilkus. That brioche French toast was their biggest new item they'd ever had premiere, and they brought it. But whatever. But
Perhaps it was because of the
I think it
chutzpah
was.
that you put
Good
on
I
it.
think it was
David.
because
Good job.
yeah, it was me, pretty much me.
Yeah,
But
we
I mean,
know.
I did the Intel Pentium processor, the center of your digital mind.
Absolutely.
I did
Oh, these are burned into your
Diet
brain, too,
Dr.
of course.
Pepper. I did a real fun one was the Buick Regal GS. First you get married, and then things slow down. Yeah, right. The Buick Regal GS, the official car of the supercharged family. Yeah.
I think you
I
pretty
knew
much
there was a
prepped,
car one. Oh my god!
pretty much prepped Mikey Day for a career. I think. That's awesome.
So yeah, I mean, I've made a lot of money doing. Thank God. And so since I booked my first movie, which was Back to the Beach. Back in 1987.
Is that Rodney Dangerfield?
No, it was Return.
Oh, no, I remember this. This is Annette Funicello
Yes.
and Frankie Avalon.
This was a return to the beach movies by Paramount with Frankie and Annette. And they brought it up
Pee Wee
to
Herman
date
was
by
in it, wasn't he?
bringing in Stevie Ray Vaughan and Fishbone and Pee Wee Herman.
That's right.
And every single personality from television that you can think of was in it. Totally. You know, Bob Denver and Alan Hale from Gilligan's Island.
In their outfits, even.
In their outfits. You also had Barbara Billingsley, Tony Dow, and Jerry Mathers. You had Don Adams. You had Ed Cookie Burns from 77 Sunset Strip. And Connie Stevens, who I love and adore, from Hawaiian Eye. She was the secretary for Bob Conrad.
And so many things.
Robert Conrad, and so many things, of course. But just thinking of her TV, back in the day. And I got to be on the stage, or at least, be right there and watch Dick Dale and Stevie Ray Vaughan do Pipeline.
Holy
and
shit.
that was
That's
like such a
awesome.
cool moment, And it was the first movie I ever did. First movie.
Again.
Well, I used to be on a show called Green Acres. Arnold and I are going to Hollywood. Yeah.
Pretty good. We just we had the what was the other one? The cement pond. $150 million for that damn mansion in Beverly Hills. From the
Beverly
Hillbillies.
Hillbillies.
Oh, really?
$150 million. It just
Really?
came up yesterday on the
What?
show.
Because they sold it, or
Yeah,
because
somebody sold it a
because
couple
of
years
its
They'll probably
iconic
knock it down.
value, or I would think you would just knock it down,
I
right?
think that's what they might do. I
Holy
think it was just for the real
shnikes!
estate.
Wow.
The Practice, David E. Kelly law drama.
Yes. I that was another show. Excuse me. I
you weren't
played
in the last episode. I remember that. I used to work on that show.
Now, I'm going to get this right. I did 2 episodes, I think. I did one where I was an attorney, and I just was like a DA, and I was discussing a case. But then I did another one where my wife and kids were in a horrible car accident.
Oh.
And the opening of the episode was like, the baby's still alive, and they're pulling him out with the jaws of life, or whatever it's called.
Drama. TV
and
drama.
Yeah. That was...
Do you remember that work, though? Or
I
where you
do,
worked?
and David B. Kelly, he writes all of his stuff, and he's really, really good. Did you watch his show that he did on Netflix, or I think it was Netflix?
We've seen the first 2 with the Billy Bob.
No, the one that he. Oh no, did he do Pretty Little Lies, or did he do that one as well?
No, there's one with Billy Bob Thornton where he's in it. Yeah, Goliath.
What
which
am I
is
thinking
Jonathan
of with,
Shapiro from The Practice and David E. Kelly.
With what's her face from Friends, where her husband gets killed, and then okay. See, I'm so bad. I'm so bad with names.
Lisa
You might be-
Kudrow.
I'm trying to figure it out.
No, it's
Aniston.
Jennifer Aniston, I believe.
Okay.
And she was grieving her, and she meets a woman at a grieving thing, and that actress was Velma from Scooby Doo.
Linda Cardellini.
Freaks and
It's not
Geeks.
Jen
Yeah.
Aniston.
It's not Jennifer Aniston. It's
I'm Dead to Me is the
Dead
name
to
of
Me.
the show.
It was that David E. Kelly? It probably wasn't.
I don't
No,
think so.
I don't think so. Wasn't that fun?
Wow, that was fun.
That
You know
was
what?
fun.
I'll be in the car.
Nothing
no, it
that
was
you said is accurate.
I love going
but
down
I'm
hallways.
forgetting
But
Christina Applegate.
Oh my, Christina Applegate.
Oh, had you said-
Right.
yeah,
Who
sure.
was so
Kelly Bundy.
good. So
Yeah.
good in that. That show was great. I really liked it.
Did you watch the second season?
I didn't know there
I
was a
didn't
second season.
I wasn't sure where they're going to go. I didn't watch it.
I mean, where are you going to go with? I mean, I don't want to give it away, but
Is it David E. Kelly? We don't know.
I don't think so.
But the
we don't
show's
think
good
I don't
enough.
think so. It was really good.
It doesn't even need to be. It's so good. It
No,
doesn't need to be
I think David E.
Kelly.
Kelly's show was the one that all the gals are in. The
Pretty Little Lies.
Pretty Little Lies.
Okay,
That
yeah.
makes
I didn't realize
Which
that.
is really well written
HBO.
and interesting. Yeah.
I worked down there for like 4 years. It was great. Loved that.
I'm sure. Like it seemed to me like because that I worked with him on the practice twice, but
was it where were you? Was it in the Hollywood at Renmar?
No,
or?
It was down in
Manhattan Beach.
Manhattan Beach.
Yeah, I would have been in there. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Hey, how about that? We worked together.
Hey-o!
All right. How about Felicity? I worked on that too.
I was going to ask about those.
Felicity, well, I showed up at her college 3 different times.
So you were at this would have been down in that warehouse studio in off La Cienega.
I was in the pilot.
This is a while. Okay.
I took her. It was her passport picture or her school picture or something. I was the photographer or something. I
Just
forget
getting
what
to college.
Yeah, and then I also played a librarian guy that when something happens and I give her a dirty look or whatever it was, and then but then I had a real funny moment where I was I was some kind of sex education, showing her how to use a condom, where I actually open a condom and put it down on this phallic symbol, and and it was a real uncomfortable, scene. But the reason for all of that is I went to elementary school with a kid by the name of J.J. Abrams, and
You're kidding
and
me.
J.J. Was a big fan of me because I was always an actor. As soon as I could talk, my mom said that I pointed at the TV and I said I want to be in there. I want to be inside that. It was kind of like Dream On. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
Latchkey kid, always in front of the TV.
That's the premise of the show.
My whole life was just like TV. I'd come home and I'd watch Batman and I'd watch, Father Knows Best and My Little Margie
I
and
can relate.
Kimba, the White Lion. Anyway, I don't know. I'm just rambling. But
You're describing
shows at the time.
that
but
guy.
but my mom said that's the only thing I ever wanted to do, and it's true. I was very fortunate, very lucky because I didn't have a choice. I didn't want to be an actor. I was an actor. I was an actor. I was always an actor. So I played a bear in a kindergarten pageant thing was my first job. But here you cut to the 4th grade at Roscommon Road Elementary School in Bel Air, California, where the chorus would put on musicals, and the whole chorus would sing each song. When it was time for the song, everybody would come out. I got the role of the Scarecrow, but I demanded that I sing my song solo, if I only had a brain. And so I was the only one, the whole thing, who came out and sang, "If I only had a brain." And my mom was in the audience, and there was a guy sitting behind her, and she overheard him say, "This kid's dynamite. This guy's really got it." I mean, I'm in the 4th grade.
Yeah.
Come on. But that guy was Marty Ingalls. I don't know if you know who Marty Ingalls is. He was married to. Cheers.
Salute.
No, he was a manager. He was a talent manager.
Producer. Okay.
And God, come on, David. Is it Partridge Family? Shirley Jones? I think it was Shirley Jones' husband.
Oh,
Yeah.
no kidding. Wow.
Yeah. For years and years, and then he passed away. But so I was discovered, but he didn't say anything. But my mom was like,
But
she
at
knew who he
at
was.
roughly 9 years old. I mean,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah, and then
Then I can get childhood. off
and
the
another
rest
and
of your-
2 years, in two grades below me was a kid by the name of J.J. Abrams who remembers seeing me. Not only that, but in the 6th grade we did Andy Get Your Gun, and he said that I was his hero. He just thought that and that inspired him to write regarding Henry. No, that is which he wrote at the age of 17. I don't know if you know that.
I do. There's so many of those movies. That's the one I always go to. But he also did polish on the Forever Young and Armageddon. People don't even know.
Yeah. No, he's.
I never forget that stuff.
It's too bad that he couldn't get involved with any big projects.
It's a shame. We really thought back in the Felicity days. We thought he was going places. Who knew?
And God love him, he brought me in. I did his graduate film at USC. With Matt Reeves.
Yeah.
That Matt directed it, JJ produced it, and they went on to create Felicity together. And then he brought me in I tested for a role on the next TV show he did with
Alias.
Alias. Thank you. I'm so glad you're here.
Well, we cast it. We made Jennifer Garner.
And
One of those
and Greg Grunberg is also a good friend, and Greg's been in
Love
everything
Greg.
Love
that
that guy.
JJ's
Seen him
done.
since Comic-Con, but we love Greg
But
Garner.
I'm so happy for Greg, just to, big part of the Star Wars family now. And
Is he? Is he in the Star Wars now?
Yeah.
Of course he is.
Yeah,
Jeez.
I think he's been in everything JJ's ever done.
That's amazing. I remember it as the captain in Lost.
Yeah,
Only
he was
one
in the
episode.
pilot. It was in the first episode,
Yeah.
and then he died. But before I forget, and I'm just going to say this very quickly, You guys. No, I'm kidding. I was very fortunate to not only do what I do, but I early on decided to try to get involved with students and do student films. And I worked with this kid at Art Center by the name of Michael Bay. Did his graduate film. Then I did a USC graduate film with a kid by the name of John Turteltaub, who went on to do the National Treasure movies and so many things. Great director. His dad was Saul Turteltaub, who did Sanford and Son, or I think.
Whoa.
And then the next was JJ and Matt. And then the last was Sean Levy. I did Sean Levy's graduate film at USC. And if you add up those 4 directors or 5 people, and also Judd's first movie, Heavyweights. That was Judd's first feature film. Over $16 billion in box office.
You're
because of
responsible
Bowe,
for it.
Nice
because
to
of Dave
done,
Bowe.
sir.
I always wanted to go on David Letterman and tell that story. It's like I do 4 graduate films, and they all become these huge, success. I mean, Sean did Night at the Museums, and of course created Stranger Things, and I mean, he's such a
storyteller,
such a great guy. Well, his graduate film at USC was maybe the best short film I've ever seen in my life, and I'm getting like chills right now because it's this really cute story about these kids who want to get in the Guinness Book of World Records, and it's just very touching because they never get it. They can't do it. They can't, and they try to get married, or they get married, and they think that that's going to get them in. And I come out and I'm the representative of
Mr. Bad News,
of Guinness Book, and I'm like, you're kidding, right? In 1977, a 3-month-old baby married. Like there was some other, like, you're not even close. What are you guys doing? Wasting my time,
right?
Kind of a thing. And then they something happens.
Very, very key.
Yeah, something
I saw that.
something happens where they do something and they get into the book, and the way he just does it, it's almost the last thing that you hear.
But it's his storytelling that gets it there.
That Sean is just such a great, it's in the editing or whatever. And basically, they get the book, it lands, and they open it up, and it says, "Oh look, what was that? How did he put it? Anyway, it was youngest divorce ever.
They got in for the. Isn't that delightful? Yeah. Oh, it is good. Now, hang on, that's good. That is good.
No, it always gets me. I don't know. It's just very touching.
That was
It's
worth
a
it.
deep
You can't
story.
see that anywhere, right? This is just it was a graduate film. That's probably not on a
I
bonus
think
feature
you
of a
can
DVD.
find it. Perhaps I'm trying to think of what it would be on YouTube or something like that.
Probably. I would like to first
And
of
before
all,
I forget, Sean and I knew each other because he was an actor, and he played the director on Made in America because we were doing commercials. Ted Danson.
Yeah, for
and
the
there was
car
a
business
bear
or whatever,
and there
yeah.
was an elephant, and Sean was the director. While he was going to USC Film School, he booked a job as a director.
That's amazing.
And then isn't that cool?
It is cool.
I didn't know that at all.
Yeah.
I think you're very cool. We've done
You're just
the time.
saying that because it's true.
No, we've done the time, and I just, it's one of those, I don't want to keep you here all day, but this has been, like, really, really fun for us, even though it was the Chris Farley show for everybody else, and you're just going down
Remember when you did that?
Do you have any
It was
stories
so
from-
cool. Well, I actually, I met Chris a couple of times, a big fan, and the nicest guy, and I hate to say this because it's a horrible thing that happened, but a week after he passed away, I sat in his seat at the Super Bowl because my friend Steve Brill, had tickets with him, and I
You're
sat
friends with Steve Brill?
Yeah, and I sat next to his brother, right after he
Yeah.
died. It was a great
Oh,
Super
my
Bowl,
God.
but it was like heartbreaking. And I had gone to his last because right before he passed, he was the host of SNL. He came back and hosted. And I got to go to that show because one of my best friends growing up, Mark Perkins, his little brother, Stephen Perkins, was the drummer for Jane's Addiction, and they were the musical guest.
So many fucking
I drop a
levels.
lot of names.
SNL was one of the first
That's
jobs I ever
you're-
had.
that
I worked
one's
at
a
30
lot.
Rock.
No way.
With Chris Farley in that year. It would have been like 95.
Oh my God! I used to
94,
go all the
95.
time because of Okay, we didn't even talk about this movie, and it's the one thing that people always recognize me for UHF, the Weird Al movie.
That's the only reason I didn't.
I
Everybody
played Bobo
apparently
the Clown,
always talks.
but it was Victoria Jackson played his girlfriend.
Hi,
and so
Jay.
Victoria would get me tickets. I'd go to the green room. I'd go to the
That's
after
what we do. We
party.
just
It was
hang out in the
so
green room
much
the whole
fun.
time.
Yeah, it was a great time.
Ugh.
I
We
also
probably
have,
hung out
I
there,
also have a
too.
bad story, but we don't have time. So I'll come back.
Please do, and then we can talk about Drill Bit Taylor and how my friend was Brill's assistant on that because I got him the job.
Oh, stop! Okay,
yeah, I
so
did
you
a
know
pilot with
you know
Brill.
Mr. Brill, and
Yeah, I did a
all
pilot with him called The Weekend with Kevin Hart before he was famous,
Oh,
and
yeah.
Oliver Hudson before he was famous,
Sure.
and Chris O'Dowd
Chris-
before
that
he was
guy.
famous.
that. Wow,
Yeah.
awesome. I mean, I when I did Heavyweights, Judd's first movie, you know, I got into his circle with Alan Covert and Jack
Oh.
Arputo and
Love Alan Covert, but I
yeah.
think of all these guys being more of in Sandler's camp.
They are. I mean, and it's. But the bad story I was going to, I'll save
Oh.
for another time was when Adam invited me, and it was a different feel at the after party this time. It wasn't like the dark, loud, everybody having fun and drinking, and it was like real quiet and very bright. And I think everybody was sober, except for me. And anyway, let's leave it at that. But Jack said to me, "Bo, what did you do in New York City? What did you do?" Dude, you're never going to be in a Sandler movie. Don't you know that? Don't you realize that? I'm like, Jack, shut up. And to this day, he hasn't put me in anything. However, Adam has never been anything but nice to me. He's always been a great guy. And I did an episode of The Goldbergs this year, which is a Happy
that
Madison
It's
production.
a great
Yeah,
show.
that show's amazing. You are amazing, mister. Thank you so much for spending the time with us. This has
my
been
pleasure.
just absolutely delightful.
And may I say it's great meeting you guys finally and seeing you. So it's been cool.
Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much, brother. It
Thanks.
means a lot. This is the part of the show we call Billboard. So if there's any way you want people to know about keeping tabs on you, social media, how can people find you? Do you have anything you're plugging?
I'm living in my car at the Big Lots over on Sepulveda. No, no, I'm just. You can catch me on Shameless. That's been so much fun for me to work on this show. It was a big fan of the show, and I play Bob Tamietti, and it's Jeremy Allen White character Lip. He plays Lip. He has a baby with my daughter, and there's Tammy. Cammy Camietti and Tammy Camietti, and I'm Bob Tamietti. Okay, what did you put in this? Jesus,
This is how we get when we're wrapping it up. You've been a delight. Thank you so much for being
My pleasure.
here. Mrs. Ryan, what do we have tomorrow?
996 Schwag.
Chris Gabriel, 996 Swag. That'll be interesting. Be good. I know we usually do
Whoa.
car people, but he's not only a car guy, Porsche guy, but he also is a medicinal cannabis expert and cultivator and
can I crash on the
horticulturist
couch
guy.
until you get
Yeah,
here?
just
Is that
stay.
cool?
Absolutely.
All right.
He's,
I'll
he-
get
Now,
you
we'll
he's so
do this
smart.
again, right? This was just like a.
This was the run through.
Run-through.
We have to rehearse. Yeah, we're not very good at this yet. We need it. All right, so that'll be fun. Mrs. Ryan, I love you so very much.
Love you
David
too.
Bowe, we love you so very much. Thanks for being here,
Thank
brother.
you so much.
Thank you guys.
We love everybody at home. Please love one another, and we will see you tomorrow.
I don't think I ever looked at that camera.